Hey, good morning, Realtor Avery.
Good morning, Aranda Koychuk.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, I think the show prep for this morning show was the most fun show prep we've had in a long time.
Because I've had no sleep.
Right? Why? What? It's a Wednesday.
Chuck, it's been a heck of a couple days. So first of all, Monday night didn't get to sleep until late because obviously Bill's game.
Right.
I give
And that was
no.
and that was in classic Bills fashion, right? You're waiting for the whole thing to just the whole house of cards, just blah 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 blah, blah and for them to like to lose on a field goal in the last seconds, especially with the weather conditions the way they were.
Oh, it was
You know,
crazy.
and that was crazy. I mean, two donkers that didn't go through the
Hmm.
uprights in the Bills' favor in one game, but that was bananas. If a
Well,
little
and
chip to
so
the wind and
right.
both of those could have gone through,
Yes.
and we could have been sad.
Well, right. It was crazy. So my son Max was at the game. He lives in Brooklyn, so when they play those teams, he always tries to go.
Yeah,
And
great.
he said it was crazy, windy, cold. He said during halftime they went into like the concourse area because they thought they'd warm up a little bit. And he said it was like a wind tunnel in
Oh my
there. Like
gosh!
it was just crazy, crazy. So like
Wow.
you're on the edge of your seat. Now, I don't know enough, honestly. If you know me, I don't know enough to criticize the refs or criticize the coaching or criticize
Sure.
the clock management. But I share your stress in watching the game and not being able
Yeah.
to get to sleep. And then once they won, I was like, oh my gosh. But then I couldn't fall asleep on Monday night because I was so excited because I went to Hamilton last night, opening night in
Oh,
Buffalo.
I thought you were gonna say you were
So
getting
amazing.
excited for the week of Avery. I thought
No,
the
that's
week of
next week.
Avery was coming up.
Oh my gosh. Well, so yeah, it's going to be an incredible month. I'm going to see Justin Timberlake next week. So
What,
can't,
JT?
I can't sleep any night this month.
Where's JT
Anyway,
coming to
I did
play?
know about the tour.
Where are you going to
So
see JT?
yeah,
Where?
in Buffalo, he's coming to
Oh,
the arena.
oh, okay.
So for the next 12 days, Hamilton is on stage in Buffalo. Tickets are still available. I highly, 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 highly recommend. I've seen it in Buffalo now 4 times, Rochester twice,
Yeah.
and I highly, highly recommend it.
So I have a hard time with musicals. I got to be honest with you. I really struggle with musicals, but I did some research on this, and I have a feeling that this would be like no musical I'd ever seen before. I have a feeling that, I was reading, they did some of the lyrics from one of the songs, and I was trying to, imagine it being performed, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a different spin, right? Sometimes you got to take something traditional and you got to throw a new spin on it.
It's amazing, and the talent. I mean, you think
Mm.
about all the people on Broadway. You think about like there were when we left, I saw 4 school buses, right? So you've got buses full
Uh-huh.
of great high school performers, right? And
Yep.
then you've got all the people going to New York City, and then you've got, how many like in Buffalo, we get 8, 9, 10 touring shows a year coming
Yep.
through, and all the cities. Rochester has a great Broadway series as well. Pittsburgh. I mean, so
Right.
the talent, I mean, that's what floors me is like the moves are precise, the dancing, and
Yeah.
last night I will
Speaking
say
of
it was
dancing, speaking of dancing, we just had the Tina Turner gig come through. I mean, come
amazing,
on,
amazing.
amazing, right? That was, yeah,
Yes. That
bananas.
was a great show too. Her life story was amazing. I
Hmm.
knew a little, but I didn't know nobody knows everything about everybody, but it was a great, great show.
I think you know
MJ
everything
the
about
musical,
Hamilton.
great dancing. What was that?
I think you know everything about Hamilton.
Well, I love it. But anyway, so that's my excuse for not being totally, totally prepared. But I
Mm,
will say, so we've been talking. Can I talk about open houses? Can I get real a second for a millisecond?
I
Tell the
guess.
people how I feel a second.
I can't stop you.
Anyway,
It is the week of Avery.
it's so so we did an open house this weekend with a brand new agent. It was her first time doing an open house, so
Right.
we're working together, and we did the Spacio open to close event management tool, printed out the QR code, had it there. And just like we talked about, we would say, hey, come on in. Have you been to
Okay.
an open house? Are you familiar with the new way that we sign in? And most of the people were, no, I haven't seen it. Oh, it's no big deal. It's just like when you go to a restaurant and you use a QR code for the menu. They're like, oh, okay. So
There you
then,
go. That's a great analogy to say it's just like you do over here. It's the same thing. And we're
yes,
totally full. We're good with that. So when we
right.
put those two together, they're good with this, right?
Right. From my window, I can see there's a Quest lab in our plaza. When you go to Quest, like you walk up, you tap the iPad to start signing in. So
Yeah, I do
even
that
if
at
you
my
brought
doctor.
a tablet for open to
Mhm.
close, people are very used to that. I had one person and he was a neighbor. So right, I'm chit
Yeah.
chatting with the neighbor while our the real agent is talking with the real potential buyers.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, I just need to go to my car and get my phone. I didn't bring it to sign in." I said, "Was that the only reason you're going to your car?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, here, do you want me to do it?" So I just grabbed my phone, I scanned it, and just like we talked about, I said, "Hey, no problem. What's your name?" And he
Very
told me. And he
and
spelled it. It was a long name. And he spelled, I said, "Okay, would you rather give this was a good one." I said, "Would you rather give your email or your phone number?" And he said, "I can give you both."
right.
And you know why? Because he said, "I would really like to talk to her about buying some land. I know she's busy right now. This house isn't for me. I live down the street. I'm good. But can she help me buy some land?" I'm like, "She definitely can.
That's awesome. Ask for
Here's my
permission,
email."
give them an option. You're assuming the close. They're going to choose one of the two.
Right. Right. And then I was like, "Hey,
We're
how did
not
you?"
we're
I said,
not we're
"Oh,
not we're not opposing. We're not opposing.
no."
We're yielding. It's awesome.
Yes.
That's
So
fantastic.
it worked out well.
Love
Then
it. Love it.
you've got the follow-up, you've got your information there so that it worked seamlessly. I had another person, another one I was helping who was just like, little. I said, "Oh," I said, "Hey, no big deal." I said, "Do you want me to sign in for you?" "No problem." And she, again,
Right.
same thing. "Would you
Sign
rather
for
give your email or your phone number?"
and you're not, I mean, it wouldn't be any different if you had a clipboard and a pen and you go, "Hey, what's your name?" And you just wrote it down,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Don't hand the clipboard and the pen and say, "Here, could you please fill this out for me?
Yeah.
I'm your concierge. I'm doing this. This is important. And I want to stay in control, right? Realtors like to be in control. I want to stay in control of this. So, hey, what's your name? What are you looking
Yes.
for? Whatever the other questions are on your sign-in sheet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
And nobody had a
You know what
problem
that,
with
you know
it.
what that deserves? Lisa, do you know what that deserves?
It's
I gotta get
nice
better at doing these sound effects because that's really like why we do the show. It gives me a chance to roll some
to
sound
play with
effects.
the buttons.
So you love the sound
Yeah,
effects. You won't admit it, but you love them.
I do. It's very rare I get a round of applause. We should institute that more in the office. I get that a lot.
Oh,
Applause.
geez. So that was
Um,
awesome. That's open to close in action, working with
yes,
clients. Here's how to sign in. They don't have their phone. They don't want to. Great, I'll help you. Let me scan it. What's your name?
right.
What are the questions? Blah blah blah. I'd really like to talk to them after. Absolutely, we'll follow up. I've already got some time set aside today at 4 o'clock. I always try to book one appointment from these events. Do you want that
Yes.
appointment?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to my
And
Microsoft? Do you want to go to my Microsoft bookings page to book that appointment?
it's
Mhm.
cool. So, not so again, it's well, it's one of those things, right? Like you throw things out to the universe and then the universe throws it back to you, right? So we've
Right?
been talking about bookings. We've been talking about the different tools that we have. Next week in the office, there's a charter school in Buffalo. It's called the Charter School for Applied Technology. And one of their big focuses is internships. And so over the last few years, we've worked with them a little bit on interns. Last year we had 2 interns. It was great. So this year we have 2 interns again. They're starting next week. So the person who runs the connecting interns with companies was emailing myself and our office admin about, setting up the dates and times and what have you. And at the bottom of his email, I saw a little blue book a time to meet with me. And I was like, hey. So I clicked on it and I got to see, I'm like, okay, like it's really nice to see someone else doing it, someone else using the tools, so you get a handle on what would it feel like for someone else to do it. So then I was like, okay, I went into the system, and I don't even, honestly, I don't remember how I did it, but I set it up, and there must have been a spot where I said add it to my email signature, right? And lots of times if you want to update your email signature, like it's not easy, right? Like for me anyway, like it takes a little effort and a little time, but because we're using this Office 365 and all the tools talk to each other, I think I just clicked a box that said yes.
Yeah.
And then Office 365, it just added it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. And it's on there.
Right.
And I started worrying like, oh, but what if like, oh, Monday I've got to do something at 3:00. I need to go in and change that. And I'm like, seriously, get over yourself. Hardly anybody's going to do it anyway. And if they book a time that I have an appointment, I could call them and be like, hey, I know you've selected 3:00, but could you do 3:30?
Yeah. So you're talking about, the importance of the user interface.
Yeah.
And I can recall, watching a video of my friend who I grew up with. He was interviewed for this TechCrunch video, and he was being interviewed specifically about his experiences working at Google, and he said, at Google, the only thing we care about is user interface. That's it. If we nail the user interface, we'll figure out a way to monetize or make profit on that exchange at a later date. But if we don't have a great interaction, a great interface with the client, it'll never work. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what they're figuring out. They're figuring out, hey, Lisa, here it is. Hey, do you want to add it? Here, click here. And they've done all the back end work for you. It's awesome. So, and I think that is true for realtors a lot, like really, if you want to be, I mean, when somebody says, oh my God, you were an amazing realtor, it wasn't, I don't believe it was because you sold the house for however much money over asking. I don't think so. I think they're saying you're an amazing realtor because of the way you made them feel while you were working with them. And you only achieve that through an amazing, what they call UI, an amazing user interface. And it's a story that's been out there for, it was over a decade. It was more like 15, I think it was like back in 2000, somewhere between 2003 and 2007 when my friend worked at Google. It's bananas. He was the first recipient of the Founders Award, which is the highest award Google gives for employees.
Wow.
He was the very first recipient of the Founders Award. It's pretty amazing.
That's very amazing.
Yeah.
Very amazing. Yeah.
I got Rochester's Finest Young Professionals in 2023, which I'm pretty proud of. Yeah, he got Google Founders Award, which is a little different.
Yeah.
People are that good, Hey.
Yes. Well, speaking of people, big shout out to everybody who's watching and signing in. So Denise, Cassandra, thank you for watching. Holly, thank you for watching. And
have you ever seen Hamilton? Has anyone, if you're watching and you've seen Hamilton, tell us, is it your favorite show, or, are you more the Phantom of the Opera? I don't know. Nothing wrong with Phantom of the Opera. We all saw it growing up. It was bananas in Toronto forever.
Oh yeah.
Buffalo, of course.
And every show has appeal. The second show I've seen the most would be Jersey Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Another great show.
Kathy went to see that with her girlfriend years ago. I think they went to New York and saw it.
Oh.
Yeah, awesome. I'm trying to think of the last, I think the last show that I saw was, I think it was either called Moving Up or Moving Out. I don't, the Billy Joel story.
Oh.
You never saw it? It was at Shays. We went to Shays and saw, I think it was called Moving Out, because that's, the song, right?
Yes.
And that was awesome. The music it was like going to a Billy Joel concert, but better, because more, like, it was honestly probably better. So maybe there'll be a Tragically Hip musical someday. The story of the hip.
Who is it? The Sweet Caroline guy.
Neil Diamond.
You know who I mean.
Neil Diamond.
What?
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond. His show is coming this year.
Caroline. Bum, bum, bum. Come on, you knew I was going there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the other thing I wanna talk about, I feel like this is, obviously a follow-up to Hamilton, but a follow-up to things that we've been talking about and actually using. So
Yes.
I have been helping agents in the office this past week, specifically with 2 things, right?
Okay.
So I think I mentioned here we are doing we're doing the downsizer seminar.
Okay.
We've got a couple scheduled for the end of the month, and I've got 6 agents here who are putting it on and promoting it. So we have used 2 tools to help promote the downsizer seminar. One of them is quantum postcards. So
Okay.
quantum postcards. All right, so super easy. So and what I like about it is I helped specifically 2 different agents do a postcard mailing, and they did 2 different things, right? So one is a newer agent, and he decided to incorporate some farming into his postcard mailing. So he went into our realist tax records. He looked for properties in a market where he knew we had buyers for. He then went to homes that had been owned for 20 years or more. And then he narrowed it down to 2-story houses, thinking that if you've been in your house for 20 years, it's a 2-story, you might be considering getting a single-story property. And then he drilled it down to 100 names because he's like, okay, 100 mailings is reasonable. So then we went to Quantum, and there's already in the Howard Hanna templates, there is a downsizer template. So you
Perfect.
just go in, you pick the downsizer template, you add the
Yep.
date, the time of the thing. It builds in obviously the agent's name, phone number, email, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And then it's
But
got a QR code in the on
yes.
already on the postcard,
Mhm.
and you just give it the URL of where you want the QR code to go. So in this
Right.
case, we created an event in Spacio Open Close Event Management. And so we copied the URL from Spacio and put that on the postcard.
Wow. This is
Then
advanced work. Well done, Lisa.
we had we took or the agent or contacts from the realist and
Yeah.
export them into an Excel spreadsheet with Quantum.
Oh
You
my.
upload, I mean, it's
Could
taking
you
me
write this
longer to
down in like a step by
describe.
step, something that people can, we're either gonna, people are gonna ask for the file that with the directions, or our engagement on this video is gonna be through the roof because they're gonna have to rewatch this section over and over and over to write down and copy all these steps.
Yeah, but it's awesome. You get it in, you upload the database. The
Right?
one place the street was, it wasn't like lower court, it was lower court. Like court needed to be spelled out for the name. And
Okay.
Quantum knew that. Quantum knew you can't
Very
do
smart.
CT, you have to spell it out. And it said, hey, we've got, we need to fix this address.
Mhm.
Super easy. And then
User
boom,
interface. That's, look, they've nailed it. The user
right.
interface. Come on.
Yes. So then we took our graphic that also we created from the template
Okay.
in Howard Hanna documents, added the QR code, added all the information, all of that. Then we used our boost leads. I mean, I don't know about you, Chuck, but in the Hamburg office, that's a big question I get. What do we do with these boost leads, right? Like, I don't
Right.
really know these
They're
people.
they're connections, right? I hate to put the word
Right. But
leads on them because they're really like, you don't know. I mean, they're just someone who clicked on a thing in order, it was a gated entryway, and they, to get the
yeah,
jam, they had to provide their thing. So, but it's an initial connection, and
yes,
that
they've heard
you
of
don't
you.
need to sell every one of those people a house. It's,
No, but you can easily send them an email and invite them to a downsizer seminar.
exactly. Or just,
And
or maybe get them on a neighborhood news campaign or something.
yes.
All you're doing is potentially staying top of mind with,
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I can't even think of it. Like I was gonna say, I'm not even gonna say it. A lot of people, with very little effort. It doesn't take a lot,
Oh, yeah.
right? And this is the whole magic. This is how other portals have built their entire business. This is
Well,
it.
and what's interesting? So again, I helped. So one of the 6 didn't want to do the postcards. They said, I don't want to
Yeah.
do the postcards, but I want to do the email. I want to do the active pipe email marketing plus email to all of these people who, hey, I'm going to reach out to them. And
Okay.
so we went through it. She had 183 emails. Like, that's a lot of people that, hey, just to reach out.
Okay.
And you know what I said to her? I said, okay. I said, let's see how it goes. She did the email and then she scheduled another one. The event is in 2 weeks. So she did an email and then she scheduled one to go out again a week from now.
Okay.
As a reminder, I said, I want you to keep me posted and let me know how many people reply, how many people either ask you a question or sign up for it. I said, but you know what else I want to know? How many unsubscribe? Because that's going to help you clean up your list.
There you
and
go.
she's like, oh, okay. So now she's, because I thought about you saying how much you love it when people unsubscribe, because that means, hey, I'm not going to waste my time with them anymore. Like I'm cleaning my list. They're cleaning my list for me. Right. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see the rainbow this morning?
No.
I can't believe you didn't see it, because I was driving in and I was coming up 490 and I looked to the west, which is Buffalo, and I saw this gigantic rainbow in the sky, and I saw where it touched down on the one side and it went up and then touched down on the other side, and I thought, wow, that other side, that's right about where Hamburg is, I think. So I can't believe you didn't see it, but I think I was heading to Rochester, so I had to forego this pot of gold. Otherwise, I definitely would have found it. But I think you just told me about a pot of gold that is sitting right in our inboxes, right? These are literally like little pots of gold. All we have to do is nurture them a little bit, and we have this great way to put a couple tools together to make that happen. That's awesome. Well done, Hamburg office. That's awesome.
Well, and you know what?
Today. This is fantastic.
And really,
I want to clap. I want to give another set of claps. These claps, these are for Holly. Thanks, Holly, for joining the show.
Thanks, Holly.
We love to see Holly. You guys can't see her. We can see her though. She's waving. She's blowing kisses to the all audience. Thanks, Holly. She's not.
We should give a special shout out, right? So Chuck and I, we have great bosses, Matthew, Lou, Kathy are great, but you know who else is a great boss? Holly and Jennifer, because they really run the shit. Shout out to Holly on Bosses Day, because like, there are certain people, when you get an email, you don't wait to reply, you reply. And for me, that's Holly. And I imagine for you, that's Jennifer, right? Like if she needs something. Yeah. So
and because she's so amazing, whenever we send something, when I send something to Jennifer, oh my God, I have a reply right away. Like, and so, it goes both ways, and they've earned all our respect. They deserve it, and they're amazing. So
we're very fortunate.
I think it's just a good example of how we all work together, right? We say it's Bosses Day. Do our bosses deserve something? Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like we're all each other's bosses just because we're all working together. We're all collaborative, so in so many ways.
And I will say too, like real estate, we're independent contractors, right? Like all the agents, they have a choice of where to work. And I always talk about one of the many strengths of Howard Hanna is our team. It is our people. We like each other. We work well together. Our admins, they like working with the agents. I mean, even if you think about your going to a store and you're checking out and you can tell that the employees are having a bad day, you can tell that they're not getting along. It doesn't make you want to go back. It doesn't make you feel good about your experience. But when you step in, even I'll see agents from other companies, they'll stop in, they need to drop off papers, drop off a check. Clients are picking up keys. Like they walk into a happy place. Like, hey, congratulations, you bought a house. Let me get you the keys. Like it's really.
Yes. Whenever anybody drops off a check, I'm like, hey, oh my God, that's awesome. Which house did you buy? That's so great. Congratulations. We're like ringing the bell. Ding, 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 you win. So
our admin's the same thing. They jump up to help. Like, hey, what do you need? What's happening? I know in my office, and in most of ours with the layout, if an admin hears an agent struggling at a computer with something, they're out of their seat. What do you need? How can I help? Like it makes a difference. And that's one of the reasons, like we love people coming into the office. Yeah, you can work from home, but the tech support's not as strong at my house as it is here.
You know what else makes a difference? The New York State Real Estate Education Foundation. So on November 1st, so this is for the realtors watching. On November 1st, our NYSAR and NAR dues are due. Is it the same in Buffalo? Did you guys, because we had we didn't pay ours with our dues way back in June 1st when they were you'd normally pay them. For whatever reason, we didn't know what they were going to be. And they said, it'll get billed later in the year. So now they know, and we have to pay another dues on November 1st. But guess what? My SRS designation class starts Monday that I got an NYSREEF scholarship to pay for. So you know what? I don't mind paying that dues to the NYSAR, the NAR, because I got a $300+ scholarship to pay for this 15 hours of continuing education, get better. All I did to get the scholarship was fill out the application, and I met the requirements. I checked all the boxes. Listen, they let me in. It's not a picky, cutoff.
Yeah. It's a great program, Chuck. I'm so pleased to hear that, because not enough members take advantage of that.
Everybody should fill one of those out. If you sold 3 houses in the last 12 months, you qualify. 3. Yeah. That's it.
And I was on that board for 3 years, where we selected and reviewed the applications. And right. I can tell you, there were times where someone might have asked for one class and we're like, oh, that's only a 1-day class. Let's add this one. And so wow. It's a matter of, or like, oh, hey, they're not offering it in this person's city this year. Let's look at options. Like, they really think about that.
I had an agent from one of my past offices who got a scholarship for the full GRI course. Can you imagine? Right. I mean, that's $1,000 when you have to pay individually for all those classes. And then I knew someone else a couple years ago who got, just in the year, 2 of the GRI courses. Because honestly, I mean, I know some people whiz through GRI now because it's all Zoom, but it used to be, I mean, it would take time. I took the classes over a 5-year period. It took a while. So anyway, so shout out to the New York State Real Estate Education Foundation. The scholarship application deadline coming up December 31st.
Yes.
Like it is every year for the first half of the year. And then there's another scholarship deadline on July 31st.
Yes.
Ask your manager, get the application, ask them to write you a little note about your career in real estate, and you have to write a little thing why you're applying for the scholarship. You need 2 referral letters and then your own little letter, and then just check the boxes, fill out the form, and you'll find out about 3 weeks later that you got the scholarship. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Cool. Well, I think this is our best show ever. We had a lot of pressure with Holly watching, so we really had to up our game. And I can't wait for next week's show. Now, next week I'll be doing that Zoom class. So I'm going to break off of that class for a tight 25 minutes. We're going to do the show, and then I'm going back to my class. Okay. So next week's show has to be tight. Okay.
No promises.
All right.
Because you're aware next Wednesday is my birthday.
Wow. It's bananas. All right. We'll see you
next
Wednesday.
I am seeing Hamilton again on the 26th.
How many times? 6 times now?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything else 6 times?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Jersey Boys, I think I saw it 4 times, 3 or 4.
All right.
And Wicked,
I think I said before, I saw the Tragically Hip in concert 15 times, over a period of maybe 7 or 8 years. So you're getting there. All right.
I'll try.
I'll see you next Wednesday. Cheers.
Bye.